that.
Cells of trout.
Here, I'll remove his,
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, I thought we could flip his name down as like kind of a shame.
alright, should I let Emery know? It's, well, he's got a minute.
Bunnies and duckies. Hello. How's it going? Your day paradise. You got a nice tan.
All this.
Scheduling. Yeah.
Papers, so.
It is. Someday I'll find software that works. I use note cards literally for 121 kids each week, starting over. Period one. Period.
What? Should be, yeah.
I see no light.
Yeah.
It made a sound.
It did its thing.
There, it's on.
Just spin
Lights are
around.
on
It
now.
says it's on.
There it is.
Okay.
Maybe your computer.
I
was
just had to
asleep,
turn my camera
So
on.
it went to sleep.
Oh. Poking out
Yeah,
our eyes.
it's doing its
See,
thing.
I look really short on the video.
Right.
You're kind of slumping.
Maureen and Jim are
Well,
away.
you got a
They
new
sent me
table,
email.
I need to get my legs on. It's not, that one came here, it's not a new table.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring a whole
Large
saw
generator.
and buzz a couple of like holes.
Oh, I like that.
Hi there, how you doing? Good.
Bring my sawzall next time.
Yeah,
Fix it right up.
right. And then the chunks we cut out, we can put under the legs.
Can you tell? It's great.
Win-win.
This'll be four. Right.
What we could do is just get a bench that's the right height and you can just sit on a bench.
That'd be really
I gotta lean back.
Just
Very
saying,
uncomfortable, yeah.
it could be
Oh, man, I gotta
worse.
lean back.
Could be worse.
That's how I keep you awake.
But the fix is simple, some 4x4s
Yeah.
on each leg.
Won't even need that.
Looks
Rick will
Well, I want this to be higher.
Higher than that
Yeah,
one?
we can-
Oh my god, you're gonna
Yeah,
like Princess and the Pea.
We'll have bar stools back here
Should
eventually.
we, start the meeting without our illustrious leader?
He's just outside in the
How
hallway.
close is he at?
5:59.
What happened to him?
Thought I was gonna be early.
Nah.
Good? Yeah.
It being 6 o'clock, I call the select board meeting to order. Changes and additions to the agenda. We have an abatement for map 415, lot 42, the amount of $193. An abatement for map 214, lot 1, sublot 1, the amount of $1,056. And a correction to the elderly abatement. Correct map and lot number is map 401, lot 54. Is that it for changes and additions?
Yeah.
Moving on to new business, we'll start with the department head report with the recreation department. Emily Burney.
Hi. A few things coming up that I just need you guys to be on board with. One being the 4th of July parade. We're trying to do prizes this year for participants, so we've got 3 categories of
For floats.
for floats. Thank you. So I think it's most patriotic, most creative, and on a whim, I did most Tamworthian, but
Oh, cool.
yeah. So we'll see what people come up with. But would you guys be willing to, at least one of you, be a judge? Because I think I need to find like 3 judges.
Is it on the, it's on the 4th, right?
It's on the 4th.
My wife's planning on entering, so I have to withdraw.
Oh yeah, I'm
I
biased.
can do it.
I
Okay,
was gonna
great.
say I might be in the parade myself, so I'd be biased.
Okay.
I'm gonna, you know.
Just remind me, is it
I'll
11?
be there.
Okay, great. It's at 11.
Can you do signups the day of, or do you have to do
Yes.
them?
Yeah,
prior?
we're not doing any pre-registration. Last year it worked great. People just showed up.
Yeah.
So.
And is it ending here? So is the judging on the, like, on the steps of the Lyceum kind of thing?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We'll set up the judges there.
Yeah.
The parade ends where it always does, at the townhouse parking lot, and then at 1 o'clock, when the band takes a break and I start field games, I figure that's a good time to announce it so people can stick around. Alright, so that's great. The other thing I was hoping to do is a dunk tank, if you guys are on board. We can do.
Yeah.
I'm doing my duty.
Okay.
You're willing to be done?
Depends on what does that phrase
No,
mean.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, no, that'd be cool. I did sign at the dunk tank like support. No, I'm not doing that.
Maybe we can get the chief or something to participate.
I volunteered Carl.
Okay. Oh, good one.
He's not here.
How many hours in the dunk tank are we talking?
Just a quick dip.
No, but I mean, you're gonna have to sit there for multiple sessions, right?
Well, that's why I figure we could take
Yeah.
turns. So
Okay.
you could do like a 30-minute session.
It's usually obligatory for like the mayor, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah, we'll get all of you up there.
I wouldn't say no.
Okay, good.
What time is the dunk tank?
So it'll be set up, so Family Fun Day is when the parade ends at noon until 2 o'clock.
Okay.
So,
At Hermit Park.
what was that?
It's at the park.
Yeah, it's kind of all downtown. We've got food trucks lined up, the band is over at the distillery, field games are on the distillery lawn, and I've got, like last year we had cornhole and badminton set up on the History Center lawn, face painting, like all the stuff.
So the roads just close.
Yeah, the whole road's closed until 2. Rain or shine unless it's thunder and lightning, so. Yeah. Alright, so that's that. So in the state of New Hampshire, you have to be 14 years old to receive paid, like, to be able to work. Our town policy is we only hire 16 and over. But I'm wondering if we can make an exception for the rec department. It would be really great if I could have some like counselors in training, 14, 15-year-olds that would like grow with this department. You know, not huge bucks, but so anyway, I'm hoping we can kind of revise that policy.
If Primex says it's alright, I think it's great.
Okay.
14-year-olds are more limited on hours, though, right?
Right.
Yeah, which this would always be
I think
less
it's
than
like
part-time.
Saturdays and Sundays. or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. But if that's doable, so check with Primex first.
Yeah.
so that's a policy that we probably have to rewrite and then you would all vote on
We'd
it.
have to
Right.
change the handbook, yeah.
Okay, so check with Primex, review policy.
Where is that policy?
I think
don't
What's
know.
it under?
I think it's in our personnel policy. Is it?
Theoretically, it would be in the personnel, but I don't remember.
I don't recall anything about that
I don't
in the
either.
personnel policy.
Oh.
So maybe there isn't a policy. We'll have to, I'll look through the book and,
Okay.
Or if it is, we didn't touch it, so it
Okay,
didn't
then
stick
the
in
old
my
one.
head.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm having this memory from last year. I don't know if it was. I thought it was you, Leanne, that told me that, but maybe it was Elaine.
It must have been Elaine.
Okay. All right,
Well, I
I'll
would check. I'm totally in favor for it. I think it's a great idea to grow kids with the program.
Okay.
And especially if you get kids who are participants in the program and then they can have a seamless connection,
Right.
you know? I think it's smart.
it's good for the kids.
Okay. And then lastly, so we've been exploring the idea of, I don't know how familiar you guys are with the rec field, but behind the baseball field, there's this kind of big open space. And Rick and I have been talking about turning that into a dog park. A lot of people walk their dogs back there anyway. We got a quote for some fencing, and I would pursue a grant for that, but before we did any legwork, I wanted to see if it was something that the town was in favor of.
How big is it?
That's a good
So
question.
it's like the whole outfield just way out.
Yeah.
It was gonna be a second ball field.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing you have to check, Emily, I don't know where we would check this. So when that work was done, when that clearing was done, it was done to create a memorial ball field for a longtime like coach and parent who had died.
Oh,
And I don't know if money came restricted for that project. You can, I don't know, if you have to, at least with nonprofits, you have to go back to the source and ask them if it's okay to change the use. And like, I can't imagine anybody caring. It might be different with the municipality,
okay.
I don't know.
Alright, so I'll do some homework first.
Just see what money, I mean, I think baseball is,
So it was cleared for that intention and then it just never happened?
yeah.
Huh. Okay.
So maybe the money never even got raised. I don't even know,
Okay.
but that's the only conflict I can see.
Big spot.
Okay.
So you're saying it's already used now for people walking their dog?
Yeah, it's just an open space and
Yeah.
whenever I'm down there with the kids, there's
Yeah.
tends to be people walking a couple dogs, so.
Yeah.
And I've only ever, just word of mouth, talked about this, and I've heard more often than not people on board with it, but I didn't know if you guys would want to see a public hearing or a survey done, or what kind of legwork is involved.
I think it's an interesting idea. Cost would be a big question, obviously.
Yeah.
I think when you get ready to make a formal presentation with cost and design and whatever else, then, like we notice it on the agenda and maybe remind people so that anybody who wants to come and speak for it or against it has a chance.
Okay.
Because it is a big change to the rec field, so.
Yeah. So you guys are on board, just get some homework done and come back. Alright, I think that's all I got. So we don't need a vote on the youth counselors thing, because we have to check our policy first, right?
Right.
Okay.
But I think we're generally in favor.
Alright, that's all for me. Unless you guys have any questions?
The app looks good.
Oh, good.
I've got some alerts
Yay.
in my Android phone.
Yeah, it's finally live on Google, so.
Do you have kids signed up for your camp?
Yeah, it's already full.
So more.
How many?
I've got, I'm stretching it. I managed to hire another counselor and permission from Primex to use one of my counselor's minivans so that I could expand it, because I had 57 kids. I'm sorry,
Awesome.
47 kids sign up for the
Wow.
summer enrichment programs. The Friday field trips is full at 50 with a wait list of 15.
Wow.
I haven't posted swim lessons yet because that just got put together like last week. But that's going to happen too for 4 weeks of July. We'll have 3 days a week swim lessons in the afternoon
Wow.
at White Lake. So
Cool.
So you found another lifeguard or swim instructor?
yeah, yeah.
Miracle.
Good.
It always comes together at the last minute. So yeah, a lot of people have been asking, and I felt bad having to say to them, we don't know yet, but so it's going to be small. I've told people it has to be Tamworth residents only. That's it.
Is
Cool.
the 4th of July information going to get blasted out in the app?
Yep, so that's on the app. I'll send a notification now that I put the details in there already, but now that I have the good to go from you guys with the parade and stuff, I'll send a notification. It's on our website. Still need to put it on Facebook, and I've got to post some printed flyers, but
Is the parade lining up on Depot Road?
yeah, just like last year, yep, where Depot and 113 meet.
And what time does that happen?
So I tell people to arrive between like 10:15, 10:45, because it's kind of a cluster getting everybody in order. And then it starts at 11, and the chief will lead the way. Tend to have walkers in front, so it kind of slows everybody down at a nice pace, but yeah.
Awesome.
And I should say, if anybody's listening, on the 22nd, I still need to blast this out to the community, but we're going to do like a family float decorating day behind the Cook Library here, where we'll just have encourage people to come and like get creative with their float. Or last year we had people with puppets or decorating their bicycles or whatever they want to do. So it's during the farmers market hours, so hopefully people show up.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you very much for coming in.
No problem. I'm gonna go feed my kids. See you guys later. See
Have a good night.
Emily.
Good night, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Moving on to the Tamworth Energy Committee with Gabrielle Watson.
Yeah, thank you. So we have been pursuing ideas around solar energy for the town. We had been excited about the possibility of that site for the potential site purchase for the transfer station, because that could have been a great place to lease out land and get $50,000-$60,000 in lease payment for the town for a solar developer there. Since that wasn't possible, we're still trying to think about what we might do, and what we've come up with actually what one of our committee members, David Kuhnhart, who's on the Zoom with us, has come up with is a proposal to ask solar developers who are building a solar project somewhere within Eversource territory, so it's not necessarily Tamworth, probably wouldn't be Tamworth, but somewhere else, ask the solar developers if they would like to make a proposal to the town for us to be an off-taker of some of the energy that they generate from their solar project. And typically the way these arrangements work is that the developer wants to have guaranteed off-takers, or people who are going to be buying their energy basically. And so if you're going to be a reliable customer like a municipality or a school district or something like that, they'll say, great, we'll get you your energy at 5% less than what the utility is charging you, or 10% or 15%. So it comes usually with a % discount off of what the utility price is, and you lock yourself into a contract that might be 5 years, might be 10 years. It really, those sorts of things are negotiated. And so what we'd like to do is put out a request for proposals to solar developers who might want to use our guaranteed municipal energy purchase towards a project that they're in the process of developing. I know it's a little complicated because one of my select board members, our liaison, had a hard time understanding it initially too, so feel free to ask questions, and David can, well, David, do you want to add in any clarifying details? Something that I might have missed?
Well, I think you got it, but I just want to emphasize one thing. First of all, good
David,
evening,
hang on
everybody.
one sec.
This is, we struggled with whether or not we even,
I'm trying
getting a
to,
little seasick.
hang on.
Am I not-
Oh.
Am I not right?
That's
Sorry.
why, yeah.
I'm right side up here and,
That sounds a lot better, but you just can't hear it.
It's coming off your laptop now.
Yeah.
can you?
Yeah.
Hang on one second, David.
Am I, so now it's still there.
I think you unplugged the
I
owl.
did, but I plugged it back in.
But it's like making its little eyes go while it reboots.
There we go.
Okay,
Try now.
speak.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, much better.
It's much better, yeah. And maybe
Yeah,
our
good.
video will come on with the owl.
And I unfortunately have lost the ability to see your expressions, so
Huh,
Just gotta turn the video
speak
back
up.
on.
I don't know why.
Marked red at the top. Is there a toggle?
Oh,
for that?
here.
There we go.
Okay.
The
Okay.
owl reappears. There we go.
Back in action.
Um,
Okay, start
all
over.
right, thank you.
Sorry.
So we wrestled a little bit in the Energy Committee with whether or not an RFP is even appropriate, because this is not a request to have Tamworth buy something. This is a request to have Tamworth save something. So this is a negative RFP in that sense. And there are several solar developers that are sweeping the landscape of New Hampshire as a result of new bits of legislation in the last couple of years, which allow for a remote community solar farm to serve municipal meters. And it allows the municipalities to declare to the PUC, the Public Utilities Commission, that our meters or certain meters within the town will be associated with community solar field X in Eversource territory for a certain period of time. And our entire motivation would be to say, we will do this with the developer if you can provide us the maximum savings. We have had conversation with 4 different solar developers, one of which, by the way, after prices fell in the fall, has decided to abandon New Hampshire entirely for their solar farm work. But another that's very, very experienced is still looking and thinks they can pull together a solar farm in Eversource territory. At least one. They're pursuing about 10 different possibilities by 2025. And then they are willing to, that particular company is willing to have just a 5-year agreement. Gabrielle is right that the only commitment that the town would be making is sort of guaranteeing a certain number of its meters to that developer for obligation to them through the PUC. And so the solar company that decided to abandon New Hampshire was looking for a minimum of 20-year commitments. The one of the ones that's still active is saying, we can work with you for 5 year. And I think that might tell me whether this is an erroneous thought, but I think it might work especially well for Tamworth to say 5 years, because, you know, who knows, maybe we could find another site for a in-town solar array. Certainly, right now, I'm aware that Cook Memorial Library is exploring a solar offer that's been made to them, but they're exploring grant sources and other to own their own if they can win those grants. And then they will get savings, a higher proportion of savings from having their own solar on their own property. So let's not obligate Tamworth to put all of its meters up, including the school, for a 20-year period. Let's see if we can get away with a shorter period, and let's see how much savings we can bargain for. We won't know until we put out some sort of public call, like the one that's been drafted for you on your behalf, to see what folks think that they can really deliver to us. So what questions can we possibly answer?
How does this overlay with the new
Community power.
community
CPC.
power?
Community Power New Hampshire? Excellent question. This is just the municipal meters only. It's not the rest of the town. So what we have, the agreement with CPCNH is all meters that haven't been already devoted to another private agreement, or all meters that aren't specifically choosing to bail and opt out, and any that have coverage by a solar array right now, because Eversource has not figured out how to do the pluses and minuses of generation locally against use locally against the CPCNH providing the generation portion of the bill. Leanne, it is something that nicks a small amount out of the total of business that goes to CPCNH, but it is not inconsistent, and it is more directly, I would say, because it's a contract, it would be a more direct assurance that the town of Tamworth could represent that it is getting savings as a result of a solar agreement.
Great. And so with that, my question is, if the contract is worded that they'll guarantee our rates at X percentage less than the next lowest rate, is that next lowest rate the Eversource rate, or is it our CPCNH rate?
I guess that'll remain to be seen.
That's a
with the
negotiable.
proposals that, come in.
Okay.
Exactly.
So you're asking just for, just to put out the RFP.
Right,
So no decisions, we're just gonna see what comes of it.
right. And what
And,
we're,
and we have expressly said within that the select board is the decider, and it has the right to decide not to do anything about this at all.
How would you advertise the RFP?
Good question.
Because I don't know how to reach those people, generators, providers. I don't know. I don't know where they hang out.
that's a
They
bit of
don't-
research
they-
that we can do to figure that out. There probably are clearinghouse places.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, one of the things
Venture
that's happened
capital.
with the
venture.
One of the things that's happened with the rise of CPCNH and the now more than 60 communities that are in is that the meetings of the state savings, the state energy groups, there's a local conference every year. There are all sorts of groups of municipal leaders like yourselves who are saying, hey, how can we do more with solar and what's being done? So we would definitely put the word out through those circles.
What are the downsides that you see?
Well, for someone like yourself, if you're still doing your own private agreement for payment, you may look with envy at the savings that the town is getting on its own meters. I think the only downside is what it has to be committed to make this work, which is a period of years when the municipal meters that we want to commit to this would be committed to an agreement. And so we would just have to track that that's a contract, and as bills get paid, to see the quarterly or biannual savings checks come in, or determine how those savings would come back. I think we've had two different proposals so far from solar developers as to how they would go about crediting the town. But really, that's all. There is no ownership, there's no liability, there's no connection to equipment, there's no responsibility for performance of any system. We're just buying savings. Buying savings.
This is a parallel question. Off the top of your head, when you've been dealing with these solar contractors who have expressed interest in developing sites in Tamworth, what kind of acreage are they looking for?
Yeah.
Like what's the lot size?
This would not be in Tamworth.
No, I understand. That's why I said this is a parallel question.
Oh, okay.
Because we started this saying, we had been looking at the North Country recycling site in part because it had potential. And I'm just wondering what they're looking for in terms of making a site viable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good question, and the numbers start to sing well for a solar developer if they've got, I would say, 3 megawatts, 2 to 5 megawatts. They can't do more than 5 because of New Hampshire rules, but in the 3 megawatt territory, and it's 5 acres, as much as 5 acres per megawatt, so 10 to 15 acres is what we're talking about. And that's why when we explored all of the town-owned sites that didn't have trees on them, large sites that didn't have trees on them, we were really only focusing on those sites that were 10 acres or more, and there's only a couple.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
My conversation with Revision Energy indicated that it was a little smaller, maybe 3 to 5 acres. That they were capped at, was it 5 megawatts, I think, by state law. So they told me 3 to 5 acres. That was one developer.
Per megawatt?
Nope, for the total project. So maybe I misunderstood, because 3 to 5 acres, you're saying it's more like 15 acres for 5 megawatts.
You really, when you get through making sure that there's passageways so you can clean panels, place for inverters to be set up, for interconnection with the grid to be set up, and so forth, it's almost 5 acres per megawatt. Some people can do it more efficiently, but it's really up in that territory.
So I think people do have this perception of solar farms as hundreds of acres. But if somebody comes in and wants to build one and we lease it from them in New Hampshire, it's fairly small, whether it's 5 or 15 acres. If we wanted to build our own, then there is no cap.
Right.
It could be an infinite number. But for a solar developer, it's a relatively small, 5 or 15. So 5 megawatt is the cap. I assume it's a PUC cap.
That's right.
I mean, Vermont, it's got so much more open land than we have, but they are popping up small arrays everywhere. Like you drive up 89 and...
Yeah. I'm assuming they have very favorable rates and tax laws to promote more.
Oh, they had huge incentivizing by the state, yeah. I don't have a problem with...
Do you feel like you would like to have legal review of the document? We sent it ahead of time. There's a couple little changes that we've already seen, dates and so on, that we would change, but...
Lawyers cost a lot of money. I would wait until we have something on the table we might want to do, But
Yeah.
get some responses and have it do it then, because they're at $100 and something an hour, and
Yeah.
it runs up fast.
Agreed.
200 or
300
300 an hour,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Still,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. David, I think we're done.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks for
Thanks a
keeping,
Thank
keeping
you.
on.
Go for it.
Can I listen in?
Sure.
Of course.
We love it.
Gonna move on to the ordinance review committee with Ned Beecher.
Yes, so I was kind of the secretary and heavily involved in the ordinance review committee, which happened from 2007 till 2010 or 2011. I have to apologize for the fact that that Willie and I were wrapping up this red binder there, and it got displaced and sort of left for 12 years or more, 14, 13. And it's resurfaced. I've done a review of it, just neatened it up, and we are now at this point officially turning over to the select board the ordinance review committee report. And it's that document there. There's electronic versions of it on a thumb drive. Willie Farnham did a lot to pull that all together. The thumb drive contains most of what's in that paper document there. It's important to have it go into the records of the town. What was the ordinance review committee, right?
Yeah.
Back in, I think it was 2007 or so, it got started. The concept was to review all town ordinances that have been created over the decades, going back to the 1950s in the end is when how far it reached back. And to review and see if there were conflicting things, if there were things that no longer made any sense, and what came out of the sort of the action items that came out of the report, out of that effort. It was a committee that involved Willie for the select board, a couple of us on the Conservation Commission, one planning board member, I think. So it was a sort of a mix from different boards in town. And what came out of it was, the biggest action item was to annul or have votes at town meeting to basically get rid of some of the ordinances that just made no sense anymore. And that was done in 2011 and 2012, I believe. Each year there were a few votes on the warrant, the town warrant, which were all passed to get rid of some of these old ordinances just to avoid confusion, etc. The reason the document is helpful is that there was a bunch of research done, and this select board and the town should be aware of it going forward, so that if somebody raises the question about, well, what about this old whatever, it's sort of been looked at, and from that time period, from I think 1958 maybe the earliest, somewhere in the mid-50s there, and then up until 2010. Essentially, all the ordinances have been listed. There's a spreadsheet, documents,
It's kind of amazing.
and this is what exists in town, and it's considered by that committee, which did occasionally report to and give updates to the select board and other committees. It has determined that things look reasonable as of 2010. And I think we're all sort of aware of what's happened since 2010 at this point. So it might be an effort that gets repeated in 20 years just to update it, but with anything that's happened between 2010 and that time. But it's something that's good to keep and be aware of.
Can you give an example, Ned, of like something that you came up with that was no longer relevant that you ended up taking to town meeting and take off the books?
I should look.
I mean, you have to remember your work from 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And so then, just so I understand,
Yeah,
so those ordinances are only researched up to 2010.
that's correct, because the work of this ended up ending in 2010
We
essentially.
need a summer intern to go through all the,
Last
Um,
15 years?
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there aren't necessarily that many that have been passed in the
We don't
last
have very many ordinances.
15 years. you
Right.
know? Right, exactly. So, there's a spreadsheet in here that does show what, you know, the recommended for different things, and that's what I'm looking for. And it has, here we go, it has, you know, it tells, 1958 motorboat on Chicora Lake muffler. I think it's mufflers on, it voted the state eventually, so I think that got annulled because the state had a law passed that there were no motorboats.
I think it's any water body under X acres,
Yeah.
restricted waters.
Oh, I see.
On,
So you didn't need a
So-
local ordinance because it's state.
so now the ordinance is superseded by state
Okay.
regs, that kind of thing. And the list does include how it was adopted, when it was adopted, you know, town warrant, floor vote passed, that kind of thing. So
Fun to look at.
I'm trying to see if there was some other, it even has vote numbers on some of the notes here. Dumping sewage in the town dump. That was one of the older ones, 1963. So, yeah, I can't come up with another one. Oh,
No, that's, I just wanted
So
a rough idea of what kinds
Here
of
we go,
things there were.
transfer station sticker policy was rescinded. That sewage disposal ordinance was rescinded. The sewage in town dump. There was a
One thing-
sign ordinance at one point that was
Yep.
also superseded.
You know. One thing that I noticed when trying to understand the building notification form, which is building notification ordinance, is first of all, I didn't know it was an ordinance unto itself. We learned that from the public in one of our meetings, is that if you find one reference in one town meeting for something being passed, that doesn't mean it's real, because it turns out that 04 building notification ordinance was rescinded in 2010. And that was one of those, it probably came out of this effort. But, so having a source that'll help you see the history of it is very handy. Because our building notification ordinance that sits today is from a much later year than I originally thought.
Right. So there is, as I said, this colored spreadsheet in here. It does show what was rescinded, what was proposed for other action. So that's sort of the history and what was done. The last effort that happened as part of that committee was to look at all the forms and application forms and such that the town has. And we started down the path, and this was when I remember working with Cassandra at the time, for example, and we sort of created this template and a document control description or guidance document that got going for a while, and then, I mean, you know, we created like the floodplain ordinance, sort of drafted this sort of form for permits and applications that would have consistency in how they're laid out, and then they would actually have document control, meaning that you know, at the end there's a listing of when it was created, this particular form, when it was updated, so that somebody can see the history right on the form of the document's changes, so that you can know you have the most current version, and understand the history of how it was changed. That got going, was presented to the select board as the progress on that, but it was then dropped. In terms of, I don't know, changes were happening and all that, so it became a back burner idea. it's not critical, but it is something that is partly done. In other words, so if at some point people felt like, oh, we should make all our permits and forms and whatever a little more consistent, so that, and track better, you know, how current they are in that, all that, then there's a start on it, electronically available. So Word documents that could be then taken and obviously replace the logo and all that kind of thing and updated. For the Conservation Commission, we did quite a bit because working with the planning board, we worked on the local wetlands ordinance in particular because there were several different processes by which that ordinance was enforced or applied, and there were different documents that needed to be done in a certain order for that ordinance. And so, and similar with subdivision, so we put together sort of that was our first full effort in this document system that we went through. Of course, now those are moot because there is no local wetlands ordinance at this point.
And the
So-
planning board just reworked, took about 2 years to rework the subdivision regs and just passed it, and redid the forms
Okay.
that are tied to planning board applications
Yeah,
for subdivision, boundary line adjustment, whatever.
right.
So I wonder if, I mean, they still have that same look. I think that they were changing elements to make it more clear
Yeah,
and updating things.
and I'm not sure that it's necessary that everybody gets, all the forms get to this similar look or some similar look shared amongst them all. Given that, the subdivision regulations are administered by somebody different from some other regulations that are administered by you all, for example.
Yeah. Thanks, Ned. That's kind of cool.
So that's the history. Again, a big apologies for the late submission.
Good it was found.
It was good it was found, yes. But it's embarrassing to me.
I wonder if it should be kept in here so that planning boards or conservation commissions have access to it when they're meeting at night. Is it something anybody, or should it be kept in the vault, or?
I would think the vault might be,
So somebody would come during the
Better.
day to research, yeah.
yeah, it would be for research. It wouldn't be,
Okay.
it's not something that
You'd refer
anybody
to.
would refer to.
Yeah.
For the ordinance. Yeah.
Anything. It's really history. And, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for coming in tonight.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it, and I'm glad that got found.
Glad
Big
that-
You can see that I labeled the,
I see you, yes. Good, yeah, that's well said.
Important, it's right.
Yeah.
Moving on to the North Conway Water Precinct Agreement for Septage Disposal Renewal.
apparently every 5 years we renew our agreement with the North Conway organization so that the septic is taken up there. It just gives them, the companies, the right to do that.
So do we need a vote on that?
I believe so. I mean, you can, it's in the signature file, you can vote to approve it
Will we
during.
do the signature?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. We'll move on to old business. Oh,
I was just gonna say, since I work in that field, I'll just make note that DES requires that every town has an agreement with a wastewater treatment plant for where their septic is going to go.
Oh, that's
Oh.
good, yeah.
There we go.
It's a DES requirement.
thank you. Moving on to old business, DOT roads update with Ann.
Okay, so since our last meeting where we talked about Route 16 in Chicorowa, Deer Hill, Page Hill, 113, and then Page Hill Speed in two different conversations, I did a bunch of following up, and here it is. Richard Roberts has ordered the signs for no through traffic and the new speed limit signs for Page Hill. He thought they'd come in at the end of the week. They haven't been put up yet, have they?
I haven't seen
Not
it.
that I've noticed, no,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay, so they'll be put up, I'm assuming they'll be put up next week. He thought they'd come in at the end of this week. We had voted last week, or at the last meeting, about the change for the speed change on 113. I forwarded that on to Bill Lambert, and he has forwarded it on to the state traffic engineer for District 13, who's in charge of that, so that is in the works. When we were having the conversations about traffic through the village and up and over Page Hill, Chief Littlefield brought up the fact that he had put in a request with DOT asking about getting signage that basically rerouted traffic, saying like truck route, to keep them off 113 as a bypass. So I asked Bill Lambert at DOT about that, and he said that there are two problems with that. They don't generally put up those signs. Those signs are for situations where either because he called it geometric discrepancies. So when you've got roads through neighborhoods or through villages or winding, dangerous roads that are not safe or designed for large truck traffic, they reroute it elsewhere. They also reroute it if it's a densely populated area. This doesn't count on either front, so he said it's not something that DOT would approve. I met with also talking to DOT, all the engineers and the powers that be for District 3, which is our district, are getting together in September. They're going to do a visit to Chikarwa. They're adding that Chikarwa stretch, which includes the village but also goes up over the hill past the lake, to their agenda as an area of concern. And they're going to review their data for accidents, speed, all that kind of stuff, and add that to their conversation in September as they're reviewing things. Hopefully we'll have more information before then that we can funnel to them for that meeting. I met with Richard in Chikarwa, just so like I could envision which parts of the village the town's paying for maintenance and which parts the state's responsible for. So he walked me through that, and he also pointed out that he and John Gotchin, who lives in Chikarwa Village, but is also a member of LRPC's TAC committee, which is the Technical Advisory Committee for the Transportation Committee. They had both done some clearing of trees and shrubs right where 113 Page Hill comes down to 16 because sight lines are blocked on both sides. So that's cut a little bit. That the right-hand side is technically the state's responsibility. The left-hand side, which is kind of in that, what do you call it, the area where water can swale?
Detention basin.
Retention basin. The trees in there are, we maintain, and the state's just, it seems like DOT is struggling with being fully staffed the way everyone else is. So thanks to John Gotchin and Richard and Rick for doing a lot of cutting to improve the sight lines. I met yesterday with Alex Moot from the Chikarwa Lake Conservancy and John Gotchin to talk about Lakes Region Planning has, remember at the last meeting I said that DOT told us that really the only way we can get funding for a project in Tamworth on state roads is if we have a project that's gone through the process to be accepted in the 10-year plan. And so I followed up with LRPC because that funding for the support to create those project proposals gets funneled in New Hampshire, or maybe all states, I don't know, through the regional planning commissions. And what I was told is that the Lakes Region Planning Commission Exec Board, we voted a couple of meetings ago not to accept any new proposals, transportation proposals for this cycle, due date June 28th, because even though there's technically some money left, Plymouth has dibs on it from a proposal, a project that they're already in the works for, and they're concerned that if they go over budget, they need to have enough money to not go over budget, so they didn't wanna use up the last bit of it, and they wanted a reserve for Plymouth. That being said, Dave Jeffers, who's organizing these grant requests, said that we should put in a proposal request anyway, to do, engineering and, safety review analysis, which would be like the first phase, and then the second phase, which would be another pot of money, actually comes in and does the project once the engineering's done. So they said put it in by June 28th anyway, because if Plymouth doesn't use the money, then we would be funded. If Plymouth does use the money, we'd go into next year's cycle. So the 10-year plan projects, there's a deadline, there's a grant cycle every year for it, because somebody finishes their project and they go off one end and somebody else comes in and it's always in a 10-year. So John Gotchen and Alex and I met, we brainstormed what that application should look like. Alex and John are drafting it in the next short time. I'm gonna do a review of it, we're gonna see what we can do and get that into LRPC and keep our fingers crossed. Lastly, I think, I talked to Mark McConkey, who's our rep, and he's the chair of the, New Hampshire Public Works and Highways Committee. Been on that, done that work for a long time, very well connected. He's fully in support of whatever we feel like we need to do, and said he would be part of meetings or, help us encourage other powers that be to take a look at our proposals.
And that's right, Leanne, he's the chair of which committee?
The,
Public
look at
Works.
it, Public Works and
On
Highways.
highways.
So that's the update to keep you posted. I'm sure I'll have another update at the next meeting.
So are there other roads or intersections in Tamworth that can be also lumped into this while we're getting this attention?
This is state money, so it's not for town roads.
I mean, I'm thinking like Whittier and the 113 intersection issues down there.
No,
No.
we have not, there's not time to look, I don't think that there's time to wrap our head around that. The only reason we're gonna make this deadline, which is June 28th, is because for years now, the Coral Lake Conservancy has been collecting like an insane amount of data.
On that particular.
On
intersection.
Shakara, and John living there and being part of TAC has also, we've got the data there, which is what we need, and we don't have time to.
Gotcha.
So where are you talking about, Whittier and 113?
Yeah, once you come over the bridge,
Right by.
there's been a bunch
Like
of
Angus's?
accidents.
There.
Oh, there have been?
That's my understanding.
Oh, yeah, not on my radar.
Okay.
Shakara's my radar.
Yeah, I just figured I'd ask. There's all this attention on the
Yeah.
roads from the state.
Because those are both state, is Old 25 still a state road?
No,
The town took it over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I think Old 25 kind of stops at the left of that intersection, and then 113 actually
So it's
So
all
it's on
113?
Right, yeah, so I
Okay.
guess it would all be 113.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's always next year.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I got for you.
Thank you. Moving on to the administrator report.
Our bank balance is
Thanks, Gabrielle.
$2,759,136. I continue to work with Rick on the transfer station, supporting Emily and some of her projects in terms of hiring, training Michaela, who's doing a great job, and just regular everyday stuff. So that's where we are.
How's everything with the building next door?
Oh yeah, good, I'm glad you asked that. They say they'll move out, they'll be broom clean and ready to be in their new space as of June 30th. Leanne's nonprofit has donated a whole bunch of furniture for the new space. Rick, we have some, probably hopefully he will be done with the transfer station, so I'll have more time to devote to, we need to put in a door and a doorway and a window and a few other things, and then paint it. So I'm thinking the month of July is probably just work on it.
Yeah.
And maybe we can move in August. And then all of this goes away. We're thinking many of these file cabinets can go in that nook there.
Oh, yeah, that's smart.
And then we can figure out how to set up the room. But it will really change the nature of this, it'll open this up again, which would be great. And, you know, they will have offices,
That's nice.
yeah.
Got Elaine's ecstatic.
Sharon, what's Sharon, supervisor of the checklist, will have a permanent space, which I think she very much wants. So there's lot of need, and we'll have an additional conference room. So for instance, the welfare agent will have a space to meet privately, which up until now hasn't existed. So, looking forward to it.
Cool.
Has there been any more, has there been a lot of public interest in the revals continuing?
I don't think anybody's really aware particularly that it's going on.
Okay,
I think they notice when their tax bill goes up.
right.
Yeah, so that's why, you know, the letter that we've drafted that you all have approved, you know, we'll send it out, 2 to 3 weeks ahead of,
Right.
town administrators are talking about it.
Yeah, okay.
On a, like, shared, you know, and I think, I didn't realize, so you're required to do it every 5 years, but some towns can opt to do it more frequently, if their, equalization ratio is really off. And they talk about the pain that, you know, that's really challenging and difficult. Because, you know, you really need to educate your people on why it matters.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Moving on to the signature file.
It's a big one.
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for May 30th, 2024.
Second.
Roll call vote.
You say yes?
Schaefer, yes?
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes. 4 yes, 0 no. I make a motion to approve the non-public meeting minutes, session 1, RSA 91-A:32A, session 2, RSA 91-A:32C, and session 3 under RSA 91-A:32C.
Second.
Roll call vote.
You said yes?
Schaefer, yes?
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes. 4 yes, 0 no. I make a motion to approve the municipal warrant for unlicensed dogs 2024.
Second.
Roll call vote.
You said yes?
Schaefer, yes?
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes. 4 yes, 0 no. I make a motion to approve the land use change tax for map 201, lot 59 in the amount of $5,500.
Second.
Roll call vote.
You said yes?
Schaefer, yes?
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes. 4 yes, 0 no. I make a motion to approve the application for solar exemption, map 218, lot 42, sublot 30. As well as the application for solar exemption, map 402, lot 13, and map 414, lot 26.
Second.
Roll call vote.
You said yes?
Schaefer, yes?
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes. 4 yes, 0 no. I make a motion to approve the supplement, map 209, lot 14, in the amount of $1,675.00.
Second.
Roll call vote.
You said yes?
Schaefer, yes?
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes. 4 yes, 0 no. Abatements. I make a motion to approve the abatement for map 209, lot 14, in the amount of $1,675.
So, you'll see the supplement and the abatement had the same?
Yeah.
That's because the wrong person was billed, so you have
Okay.
to,
Wash it.
Okay.
yeah.
Alright. Abatement for map 415, lot 42, in the amount of $193, and abatement for map 214, lot 1, sublot 1, for the amount of $1,056.00.
Second.
Roll call vote.
You said yes?
Schaefer, yes?
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes. 4 yes, 0 no. Move with the campers. I make a motion to approve the abatement for map 214, lot 154, sublot 18, in the amount of $194.34. I make a motion to approve the abatement for map 206, lot 8, in the amount of $431. The abatement for map 415, lot 64, sublot T12, in the amount of $18. Abatement map 215, lot 49, sublot 122, in the amount of $18. Abatement map 214 lot 154, 214 lot 154, sublot 43, in the amount of $81.
Second.
Question,
Yes.
Not a mistake.
it's not a mistake?
Nope,
It's
I
a
checked
T?
with, I checked with Rod.
Okay, great,
Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes. 4 yes, 0 no. Exemptions. I make a motion to approve the abatement for map 214, lot 168, in the amount of $250. This is a veterans exemption. Abatement for map 401, lot 54, in the amount of $568. This is an elderly exemption. Abatement for map 218, lot 42, sublot 30, $689. This is a solar exemption.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes. 4 yes, 0 no. I make a motion to approve the institutional exemption application map 217, lot 23, sublot 2, Huggins Hospital. Institutional exemption application map 203, lot 53, Union Hall. Institutional exemption application map 206, lot 65, Tamworth Preschool Incorporated. Institutional exemption application map 218, lot 102, Sonata Housing. Institutional exemption application map 404, lots 27 and 28, Wanalancet Corporation. Institutional exemption application map 202, lot 49, Unitarian Universalist. Institutional exemption application map 203, lot 66, STUMC.
This is a Methodist church.
South
That's how
Tamworth.
they- Yeah.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes. 4 yes, 0 no. I make a motion to approve the North Conway Water Precinct agreement for septage disposal renewal.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes. 4 yes, 0 no. I make a motion to approve the payroll in the amount of $39,773.91.
Second.
Roll call
Oh,
vote.
you know, I didn't list, I should have. The 255,000 of it is the school.
Okay. We can talk about it when I get there. Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes. 4 yes, 0 no. I make a motion to approve the accounts payable in the amount of $304,605.67. And this is so.
And $50.
And
We had to write
$50.
one extra check for somebody.
Okay.
If you want, I can pull up the major cost.
Second.
And $250,000 school payment. And we'll have
And other large things, the ambulance service
for
for 18,000.
ambulance service for 18,000.
Highway road construction for 6,000.
Highway road construction for 6,000.
Cemetery maintenance for 6,800. And that's really the big ones. That's it.
Thank you.
Did we get a second?
Yes.
Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes. 4 yes, 0 no. Cash used to date, $4,937,291.48. Select board update.
Last week I went to the NRRA, Northeast Resource Recovery Association, the NRRA Recycling Conference. It's held every year. I had never been. It was 2 days in Concord. Learned a lot about the state of recycling in New England. Most of the people there were New Hampshire, but there were a few people from Vermont, Maine, Massachusetts. A couple of tidbits that I learned. One is that the state of recycling is sort of improving because more product is needed by various entities like glass. The people who use glass in their construction mostly for beverage bottles or fiberglass insulation, they need glass and they can't get enough of it. So it's those entities that need it are building more mills so that they can get closer to people that have it, so that the recycled stuff can come back to them. States that have bottle bills recycle about 64% of their glass. States without a bottle bill recycle about 28% of their glass.
Which is all of New England except New Hampshire.
So New Hampshire, that's a national figure. New Hampshire's at about 30%. So the rest of it goes in the landfill, and it's very heavy, and we pay a lot to move it around. But there are entities that want it if you can just get it to them. So it's good that we're filling up that big container with glass so that we can get it to the people that need it to make more glass stuff. Another interesting session I went to was about single stream recycling. I've always had a bad attitude about single stream recycling because you never know where does it go. So most of the single stream recycling contracts are with Casella, and it all goes to a recently renovated facility in Boston. It's a long way, and the further you get from it, the less better deal you'll get when you hire Casella. I'm pretty sure Casella takes the stuff from Sandwich, so I think they still go this far north. But the trucking costs are killing everybody. But they manage to extract about 85% of everything that comes in the door.
Really?
In the old days, it was very manual.
Yeah.
You have a lot of pickers, and you had a lot of screens that would catch things and magnets and stuff. Now, most of it is optical scanners. And the optical scanners can read stuff going by on the belt, and the scanner knows the different composition of glass or plastic or metal or whatever. Like for a drinking bottle, if it reads plastic, right next to the camera is a little air jet. It hits the bottle with a jet of air, and the bottle jumps over that belt and goes on a different belt. I mean, I'm amazed at
I saw this in
crazy.
New York City. It
at
was wild.
how it works.
Yeah.
And they end up with about 15% of residual waste that they need to landfill. And the cleaner you make it, the lower that percentage of waste is. In the old days, drinking bottles, you were supposed to throw the cap away.
Right.
It was a different kind of plastic that was not recyclable. Don't do that anymore. Put it back on the top. If it's loose, it falls up and it ends up in the waste. But if you attach it to the bottle, it'll stay with the bottle, and now they're all made of the same plastic.
Or if you put it in the bottle, if you fold it in half, like
That
a
works.
Poland spray
That
bottle,
works too.
Yeah.
stick it in.
And with, this is right from the horse's mouth, from Mr. Casella, essentially, that if you don't need to wash out your containers if they're recyclable. Just rinse them, and just get rid of them. Now they can even take the greasy pizza boxes. In the old days, you couldn't do greasy.
Yeah.
So he said, yes, please take the pizza out, but the greasy pizza boxes, the new facility can still take those.
Yeah.
So there still are older facilities that can't do all the things the new ones can do, but they're going through each facility and
Yeah.
upgrading them. I went to another session which...
Can I, yeah. So how are communities deciding then whether to go single stream or not?
I remember from our meeting with the folks in Moultonborough, they used to do source separated in Moultonborough, but they have a small facility, and on the weekends, particularly on a Sunday, the traffic was so slowed down because to get out of your car and to bring your glass here, your plastic there, your paper there, your car, the traffic was a half mile out the road. They went to single stream just because they had to get the traffic to flow better.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really sad that they had source separated, which is way better. You get a higher rate of recycling if the homeowner does it than if it just goes in some big truck. Because some of the stuff breaks, some of the stuff gets contaminated when it goes in the big truck. For them, it was just traffic flow.
Mm-hmm.
Others have it, and I can't say why, because that's the one place that switched from one to the other. Some is just space. You don't have a place to put all this stuff. Our site is very limited in space. You need a lot of space for people to put stuff, and then you need to deal with it in containers or balers and storage or whatever.
Does Casella pay these towns to
Yes.
take the single stream?
They pay, typically for single stream, you pay Casella, but you pay them less than if it was trash.
So it's
That's
out of
where
the
the savings
rate, the
is.
landfill,
Right.
or
And you
Solid
save on
waste.
your MSW, municipal solid waste, because that stuff has some value in it. Not so much they're gonna pay you for it yet, because there's a lot of other stuff in there that they need to deal with. So you pay for single stream per ton, but it's less than you pay Casella to come the next day and pick up your trash. So that's where the savings is. It's not a money maker. Whereas if you sort of separate it, you can actually make money, because then all the aluminum goes to one place and all the glass goes to one place. Glass is still a problem because there's value in it, but it's really heavy. So we pay for our glass to get rid of it. But there's value in it, so we pay less per ton than if it was trash. Aluminum has even more value and it's lighter, so there's some real money in aluminum. I was surprised there's money in cardboard. I didn't know that. And the NRA does full cost accounting for a few towns per year, and they presented the results of 3 of them. And they can do it cost per ton for recyclables or trash or C&D, or they can do cost per household or cost per person. As long as they have the data, they can present those numbers. And it was interesting to see that for every town, C&D is a little cheaper than MSW, because you need to know how much you're paying to get rid of your C&D and charge accordingly.
Right.
You can only charge if you have a scale, so you need to have a scale.
Yeah.
Towns without the scale, they lose their shirt on C&D, because it's heavy, and there's a lot of money, again, to trunk it around. So
And Matt Rose had said that cardboard was the #1 moneymaker when he did the presentation in Chicago.
and I was surprised. I thought there was no
Yeah.
money in cardboard, but there
Yeah.
is, I guess. You know, there's the mills need paper, and the companies need aluminum, and they need glass.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper to get it from here. I mean, aluminum only comes from like 2 places in the world.
Yeah.
Most of the aluminum in the United States comes from some island in the Caribbean. And then some big giant mine in Africa, I think. So it's way cheaper just to keep reusing our aluminum than to go to the Caribbean and dig it out of the earth.
Yeah.
But it's just finding ways to separate it and to make the process cheaper and quicker that drives the cost down, so that more people would do it. So it was very informative.
Wow.
So that's all I got.
Okay. So I had a couple nice conversations with some townsfolk, so that was really nice to hear from them and get their take on a few things. So I encourage anyone that wants to have a conversation to reach out. I know I'm certainly open to doing that. And my only other bit is we got the information back from Sanborn Head just before this meeting, as far as what size building we could put on our current transfer station lot. So we'll certainly be reviewing that, and I hope to be presenting some options at our next meeting.
Cool.
So they do seem to think there's enough space for a big building with chip pile, for the
Chip road.
brush pile.
Yep. So I've gotten a bunch of emails and phone calls from people saying how nice it is to go to the transfer station, that people are helping, like coming right over and saying, do you need some help? No? Okay, well have a nice day. And I think part of it is that we're fully staffed. I mean, I know that we don't have an official supervisor, but with Rick there, we have more bodies than we've had for a long time doing the work. Cheerful, so townspeople are appreciative, and we should just be on the record again thanking Rick for working 2 jobs right now for the town to oversee this transition since Glenn's retirement. I could not go to the planning board work session last night, but the second kind of iteration of the build-out analysis came, and the group, including David Little, who had some excellent insights, gave feedback about parameters to add, so that's gonna come back for another draft. And last is that, just a reminder that LRPC's annual meeting is this coming Monday in Meredith. That's it.
No update from me, so.
So
You're
I
in baby
actually
mode, man.
forgot something I wanted to add. I would like to see if the assessing clerk could look into how Ossipee charges their campers as far as the notifications, so we don't have to go through this giant list of abatements every year. So assuming the board's on board with that,
Okay, thanks, yeah, we'll do.
thank you.
Says no research.
Anything else for updates? No? Moving on to public input. Any public input? Nothing? Come on, Bruno. Yeah. Alright, we can move
No,
No.
no.
moving on to make a motion to go on into non-public under RSA 91-A:32A, RSA 91-A:32A section 2, and RSA 91-A:32C section 3 at 7:14.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes. 4 yes. 0 no. We are now in non-public.
27?
I'll be at the end this time.
Okay. Get started down there.
There you go.
Keith, do you have a regular pen? Because all I've got's purple.
It's 7:45.
Or do you have a pen?
No, but I will still.
I'll pass it out.
I make a motion to come out of non-public at 7:45 p.m.
That's easy. Second.
Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
Schaefer, yes.
Prentice, yes.
Roberts, yes. 4 yes. 0 no. We are now out of non-public at 7:46 p.m. Minutes are not sealed. Motion to adjourn at 7:46 p.m.
You can keep that pen again.
Where was that hiding? I couldn't find that this morning.
Like a decent list this year.
What are the dogs?
13th. Yeah.
I'm not on it. I have been
Have you?
in the past.